What's going on, everyone? Let's do a weekly update. Start off with the dollar. It's a weekly chart. You can see it hit resistance, came back into support at the 8. Pretty nicely done. So make sure we hold support. It's that opposing point that we can set up and somehow find a trend. If it holds the 8, then it's a very bullish, get across that 34, no problem. Daily closing below the 34 one more time. I got legs pointing down. I do show a double top. So I hit a double top, came back through, finding support. Watch out if that breaks down. It could come all the way back in to the previous range, to the previous breakouts. Let's choose a higher previous high and a previous low balance point for a nice support line. And I got a previous low over here that we have to get through. So it's holding right below and it's consolidating nicely. Right below the 34. I would watch for a quick churn down and then back across, as this whole consolidation phase is a bullish retrace. Coming off of the reverse head and shoulders here. Left head, left shoulder. So anyways, it's coming back into support. That's the bullish retracement. Across the 34, above the 34, the bullish coming back in. So it's got to hold. If it breaks down, then the whole pattern fails. So anything could happen. There we go. Again, for the weekly, over the 8, over the 13, into the resistance 34, back into the trend forming on that 8. Just a guess, it's going to form some kind of an opposing point, like I said, to find trend. So I'm looking for a little dip this week. Definitely stay higher low. If we want to do a flat bottom, I don't trust it because it is in a downtrend, literally. I got head and shoulders tops pointing up on these left shoulder head, came across, back through, into, and now to watch the fall over if it wants to break down. I would say the previous lows, I got a little whipsaw past those previous lows back into resistance. So it's trying, it's gasping for air. Imagine dropping a ball and it's that first bounce, it's a lower high, right? And then the second bounce, another lower high and a lower low. So watch it fall over here. It didn't get back above the 8 or the 13. It's been there before, but we've had a lot of signals recently. And where was that chart? I think it's the Dow. But there it is. Look at these signals. Just recently. We had signals prior. I think I did a video on a bunch of signals all at once. But those got negated through breaking previous highs, making higher highs. But then on a 60-minute chart just recently, I have a falling star, and price is below both of them. So it doesn't feel good. Not to say that this can't come back up on a 60-minute chart. But watch out below on those longer term. Daily and the weekly still above support. So we're just hanging there on a tether, just like usual, just like always. If it breaks down, look for previous support, previous highs, 2,500 or so. We got a little bit of previous highs here. But if it breaks this pattern on top, it'll fall all the way through the next line. So look for some kind of breakdown across the 8 on that weekly. The VIX. Let's look at the VIX. The VIX is gearing up. It is certainly gearing up for something. We had that period of accumulation, popping across, 2-bar pattern, 3-bar pattern, over into the resistance, back into support all at once. Very fluid, right across that 34 back in. So this is a nice bullish retrace into support. Watch for a turn in the next couple days. Maybe 1 day to make the turn, 1 day to confirm it. This thing's going to be badass, I think. It's being dragged through the mud for a very long time. That break on the daily is going to be a nice weekly breakout on the VIX. Very, very nice. I think it's gearing up. Something big is happening. Something wicked is coming our way. Those weekly breakouts are awesome. So there are a bunch of signals on this one as well, the Dow. But, you know, it's just a S&P knockoff, I think. So left shoulder, head, right through previous highs, through support, back into resistance, making that right shoulder, completing. Watch for previous low breaks, make it feel comfy inside as it fills the gap first, but then falls through. Watch the previous low breaks all the way in. I would say that I would go 50% rule on this candle here. It's got a nice little gap coming in. So I look for support lines coming in, but if volume increases, all these gaps will fill all at once. It'll bearish retrace back into the 34 and then it'll fall over. So watch for previous lows. These signals, I mean, if that confirms, this is not confirmed, the price is closed below it. So if it confirms on the upside, then this whole pattern could just fail and it could just hyperinflate, as I've been calling it. Because there's no rhyme or reason. I don't, you know, they can print money all they want and to paint themselves out of a corner, but this doesn't, none of this makes sense. It hasn't made sense for years. So again, same as the S&P, same exact thing. It's surprising we got the same pattern going on the daily. Weekly, on the other hand, we still have support. But it is on a tether, closing right above previous low. If it breaks previous low, watch out. That weekly previous low. 2-bar pattern off the top, of course. Still working it. Not confirmed yet, though. Weekly on NASDAQ, we put in a double top. But we're a little bit bullish on this. I mean, it came out of this rising wedge, but it's doing the same thing. Remember those signals that came in on the S&P? We had a rising wedge. It came outside the wedge, came back into the wedge, and then made a left shoulder head, came through, and now we're at the right shoulder. So I think NASDAQ's just lagging on the weekly chart. Daily chart, it's just a drastic double top. It is at support, though, so I think it's going to be bullish for another spit. Making the left shoulder, then got to make the head. If it's going to do the same thing, markets like these patterns that come in. That's very crude, but head and shoulders top, I think, is forming. Just opinionated fact. Oh, looks good. It came outside that pattern, really just whipsawed and then just right outside of it. Very, very volatile. Pattern has broken. Watch for the pattern to come, the price come back through the pattern now. Same thing happened in the S&P. I do believe or recall. Weekly on crude. Looks like I got a little reversal bar. Watch for the pattern to break down. I have supported the 8 previous high as usual. Watch it come into support. It has a room to come all the way back into the pattern break. And the pattern is a long-term weekly chart pattern break, price pattern, however you want to put it. It is completed the pattern right across the reverse head and shoulders on a long-term chart. Now it's doing the bullish retrace, and then we're going to have a flat top break once it finds support. So it looks like it's going to come down into support somehow. The quicker the consolidation bullish retrace, the bigger the move afterwards. And this thing just got going, so see what happens. Anything could happen. This can just fall apart as usual. Can't tell the future until it happens. Forget it. There goes. And there we have my first signal of it. Oh my geez. Get out of here. So the weekly, I say it's coming for a bullish retrace after the cross, after the pattern break. The daily is showing the bullish retrace as it's coming off a double top, close below the 8, losing its momentum, closes below the 13 back into resistance, and this is the bullish retrace off the daily. So my 34 is in and around 60, and my weekly support is in and around 59.60, previous highs. Previous highs, previous highs. So there we go. I think it's coming back to 60. Natural gas, put this in here for shits and giggles. Guess winter's coming. We gotta get this natural gas thing moving. I got a left shoulder, a long right shoulder, and it's coming outside that pattern now. So it popped outside, came back in. That's a weekly. Daily. So I got a pattern break. Look at the bullish retrace back into support. So make sure we hold the pattern. But I got a huge whipsaw here. It closed down. It opened down and closed down and opened all the way in. It's a what do you call it? Oh, I forget what you call that. Oh, it'll hit me in a minute. It's a bullish move. It's a whipsaw originally, but it's got a like a kicker. It's the kicker or something like that. It's not a right shoulder sling back like I like to call, but let's just call it a whipsaw bullish piercing pattern. Yeah, there we go. I don't even know. But it's at support now. Let it form a pattern. Watch for the previous high breaks. It's very bullish on the upside if it does. I think you call it kicker. I think it's the kicker. Can't remember now. So we got the carry trade. Looks like we closed below the 34 on the daily. Coming back into support on the weekly. So I got support all the way down. I got resistance all the way. It's in the range. So let it find its wheels, its legs. It looks like a nice cup and handle forming. So let it consolidate. Looks like that's what it's wanting to do for a while here. I'm coming off a double top. Watch for previous low breaks. If it breaks the previous top, it's got resistance coming in. But again, the cup handle, watch for a break at 118 for a long-term chart. Again, the daily looks like it wants to take a leg down. I got momentum change. Let's close up. Let's get close here and see if I can find a reversal bar. There's a reversal bar right under the 8 cross. These are bullish, bullish, bullish. I got a hanging man there, hanging man, hanging man. So it's got that hanging man look and then the cross. I got a momentum cross here. It could come all the way back down into previous breaks before I would get concerned. Because you got plenty of support coming on in. A long-term chart. Looks like a really fast and easy consolidation here. So watch for the U-turn, the double back this week. Nice 2-bar pattern here. Whipsaw. Came through support, recovered very nicely. 2-bar reversal. And it's just coming back into support. Bullish retrace on the weekly. Find the daily support this week. Gold. It's a shame we couldn't close right above the 13 if we had to. Looks like we opened up very slightly. Nothing going on here. Friday close, very nice. Let's see that hourly chart. Here I got a falling star on the hourly, so let it come on in on the open. If it takes out that falling star, then got a nice inverted hammer showing support. Yeah, make sure we take out that reversal bar there. But it appears it needs to gather its legs and try again. So look for support lines to come in into about 1287. Could come all the way back into the 1280. 1290 all the way in. It could come all the way into the previous breaks before I would get concerned. 1280. Let's call it 1285 for support. Last line of support. It's definitely a bullish retrace on the hourly as the daily just took off. Yeah, I would look for a retrace at the beginning of the week on the daily. Unless it wants to take it out, I mean, let's do it. Carry that 8 right across, but a lot of times when the price takes off across the 34, it always comes back into support as the 8 crosses over the 13. So see how it got away? It ran too hard and fast on the Friday close. It might just come back and find that support as the 8, making that splash. Silver, nice close. I need this thing. We need to get this silver above 1850, and it's driving me mad. So a nice little pump for the Friday. We didn't get knocked back. That's good. Look for the retrace as well. It ran away from its averages. Let it come back in. If it has to, gather its legs. They'll be really good right here to have a little consolidation. Watch for the whip. Right back across 1740. It'd be a nice little break to get into 18. 18 is going to be the big break. I need it above 1850 for the long-term trend to continue. Plus, it's going to break into the previous highs, that previous range. If it breaks 1850, 1850 all the way up that range, it could climb. We can do it. I got higher lows. I got a pattern forming. Nice little reverse head and shoulders in here. If it confirms, a nice little reverse head and shoulders there. Reverse head and shoulders again. So I got a double off this daily chart. Left shoulder. And then another try. So let's get it done. Big mess. I think we can do it. It's getting close. It's getting real close. See if we can't get it. Make sure we stay above support. Anything could happen. That's just so bullish on that monthly chart. I mean, it's just silly. So silly. Let's break into the previous lows, break the previous breaks. Look at that pattern that broke way back when, 1850 and above. This is where we're at. We need to get there, break it. We can get to the highs again. It's no problem. Got a lot of work to do at 25. 1850 to 25. 25 will get you 50. Let's see the gold. Gold, look at that. Are we almost at the end of the month? Because that is a good ending month candle there. The 19th. We got until the 30th. I can't believe Thanksgiving's this week. Is that right? It's this week? I don't even know. I don't even know where the time went. Look how bullish that is. Let's get across 13. Over the 34, back into support. 3-bar pattern. Over, into, over, into. Let's get above 13. Break the previous highs at 1324. Into, all the way up into 1551. Let's call it 1500. I think I can do it. Once it starts to go, it won't stop. Plus, things don't look good in the regular markets. Those signals, Jerry, those signals. Let's confirm that whole pattern, that whole bottom pattern by getting above 1350. Let's do it. We'll be bullish again. Very nice. So copper hit a top. I got lower highs coming back in. I got a cup and handle. Look at that handle. Boom, boom time. Very sharp. Watch it come into, make sure we hold support. It could come all the way back in, okay? It could take one more leg. But this, it's going to find support, and then it's going to shoot right out of there, I think. The weekly, on the other hand, is showing a bunch of legs pointing up, a bunch of wicks. I got a tweezer top. I got a tweezer top, higher low style, or lower highs. Lower high, tweezer top. The wicks. Find those wicks that are pointing. I got 2 wicks pointing down. That means the price is going to go up. I got 2 wicks pointing down. That means the price is going to come down. Very easy signal on the long-term charts, if you didn't know. Watch for the tweezers. The tweezers and the tries. I got some tri tips there. Not very long, but still I have 3 wicks pointing up. Anyways, it looks like it wants to come back in on the weekly chart. Could find support anywhere up here. This decline right here, this handle, it's like a stair step. It's managed. It's someone sitting on the bid. He's taking everyone's cells and lowering the bid as he goes. Probably sitting on the ask and the bid. I got a reversal bar at the lower high here. And then a reversal bar, a little topsy-turvy, and then the break. It looks like a stair step into support. Just a managed stair step bullish, like a bullish flag into support. So let's make sure we hold support. And somewhere around there, somewhere in there. Pretty crude. I think it has plenty of room to come back in if it had to, because it did run really hard. I mean, it could come all the way back in if it had to find trend. Let's make sure we get back above that spot there. Continuations. So I don't know. Copper's coming back in. It's probably going to find support somewhere. It's going to turn. It's going to get wedged from that downtrend. It's going to get wedged between support and resistance, and it's going to pop one of these days. One of these days. So gold-silver ratio, I'm still working that head and shoulders top here, and it's looking like it wants to break down. So it looks like gold is becoming the better buy lately, but still at 74 ounces per 1 ounce of gold, and silver is such a better buy than anything out there, I think. Unless you wanted some, 2 pounds of uranium or something, I mean, what do you got to do? So the miners all held support again, right? I got an uptrend. I need to hold that support. It broke across the 34, and it's just came all the way back in. I was very excited, that time when it crossed over the 34, and now it's back into support, hugging support. At first we had support, now it's hugging support on previous lines. It needs to get back above that 34. This is a weekly chart. It needs to get back above the 34. It held nicely. I got a doji down there. It looks like a, what do you call it? A gravestone doji? No, inverted hammer. This is inverted hammer. It's got too much body for a doji, but that's pretty sweet. Little inverted hammer over support. 2-bar reversal over the 34, back into support, makes that inverted hammer. And then it's not confirmed yet. It came back through one more time. The daily chart, I got a bottom here, bottom here, bottom here. Hammer over the top. It's bullish. Nice daily chart. Watch for the rejections. It's got to break into previous lows. We still got a lot of work to do, but it's bullish. It's coming across the 8 into the support. Hammer over support. Closed above the hammer. Watch for the continuation. So JNUG and GDXJ, they almost broke through support lines, but just kind of whipped. So closed right above support. Nice bullish posture. Let's break that double top into previous lows on GDX. Nugget, same thing. Let's break the previous lows. Let's get across. All these are bullish dailies. See how we broke down previous lows, and then we whipped right back across. So we got support. We got support. Watch for the continuation across lines of resistance. 17 should get us 20. First goal 17. First Majestic, same thing, little whip across support lines. USLV, very bullish posture there. Watch, is it closed at previous highs? It broke through and closed at. Very nice. Watch for the little dip into support. Watch it recover for a double back across support. USLV is very bullish, I think. I like it. It's 3 times a long silver. So True Grit, this is for you. I took this off my watch list because I didn't like it the way it looked. So I haven't been following it, and I'm surprised that it how bad it looks. But that's the right shoulder sling back situation. It's breaking. If it breaks previous lows on Hecla Mining, it could take another leg, and that leg can come all the way back through into previous breaks and previous lows. So if he held that support line break, watch for the bearish retrace back into resistance. Now the question is whether or not that is a hammer on the weekly. I don't think it's a perfect hammer. I like the wicks to be a lot longer than that, especially on a weekly hammer. And you got a little bit of weak. It held support, so it looks good, but it's not a perfect hammer, so watch for the confirmations on the downside for continuations. Another test is to take the measured move once it broke support lines. So it's got plenty of room to come back in. I'm not sure if that's a legitimate hammer on the weekly chart. Looks like a bearish retrace. A hammer would have closed a lot tighter. The selling would have been a lot worse. And then the recovery would have made a very tight candle instead of that body's too long. I need a longer wick for that long body. So I think the general rule of thumb is 2, but I like to go 2.5. So 1, 2.5. So I don't think the wick's long enough for me to take that hammer seriously. Anyways, the reason why I took it off the list is because I thought that it would take that leg and whip right back across. So watch it to come back in and then double back and then right back across that sell-off. It's got plenty of room to come back in, though. And somehow they upgraded it. I'm not sure. Because if they upgraded it, it doesn't look like they upgraded it because that stock fell to the floor. Anyways, I'm not very bullish on it yet because the first spike low is not a bottom. It's usually that second or third and then the retrace. I think it's got plenty of room to come back in. I'm not saying it can't. It could come back into resistance and then watch it fall over. Watch for the rejections. Again, the 8 got rejected already. So I'm a little bearish on that one. I don't think that's a hammer. NAK, let's just do a weeklies on these. NAK closing above the 8, or yeah, 8 and $2. Let's keep above previous highs. Let's watch for support lines. Looks bullish. It's just trying to gather its legs, it looks like. I'm working a double top at the daily, so it could come back in. So watch for the previous high breaks on the upside. See if it recovers. Steel all the way back into resistance and is consolidating in a little pinch where the 34 is coming down, the 8 and 13 are coming up, and it keeps hitting that resistance previous lows into the gap, into the gap, into the gap. I wonder how many times it's going to do that before it just decides to break outside, and then the previous lows are our resistance on the way through. So the first previous lows are usually taken out. Let's see if we can't get back into the 33 range if it breaks. That's for steel. Cliff is on a cliff, holding support again and again and again. 2-bar reversal here over the 34, got 2-bar reversal, did get rejected, and now I'm into a double bottom, but I don't like those flat bottoms. The first move across the 34, back into, and then rejected at double bottom here. I don't like that flat bottom across the 34. It's going to confirm this pattern and take a dive into another line of support somewhere. I don't like those flat bottoms across the 34. Could certainly do what it wants, and it's hanging on by a thread, though. It could be a legit double bottom, or it could be the left shoulder, head, right shoulder rejection, and then the fall over. Longer term, it could be just a cup and handle, coming all the way back into the previous breaks. So anyways, I don't like the flat bottoms. It's gotta have a lot more support than that for me to get interested. I hope I'm wrong. Uranium's kicking it, right? Must be a war brewing, something crazy. But uranium started to wake up. See if we can't find anything here. Got nothing. Little long-term pattern break could occur across that balance point there. The daily, very nice move across the 34 back into support. Watch for the previous high breaks. That's an easy pick right there. Watch for the previous high break. Take that reversal bar out. On this one, you should have bought the break, the support, or the flat top. So watch for the flat top breaks. Continuation pattern. It's a nice little launching pad there. Over the 34, back into support, little launching pad. I like to call it a little launching pad. See if we can't bust outside the long-term resistance line there. Balance point. Weekly on UEC. Looks pretty bullish. It's just got to get across that line, though. Trying too many times. Sometimes it just loses gas and falls over. So momentum dies through time. Keep the higher lows. Could be a nice continuation pattern coming up on that one. Western uranium. Something we picked up during the week, I think. Like a virus. Watch for the previous low breaks. It's still in no man's land now. Watch for the break into previous lows across the 34 on the weekly chart for Western uranium. Daily, I don't think it trades that much. Let me see if I can find anything. A little sporadic, but it looks, look at this little volatility moving on. Over the 34, back into support. Watch for the double back. As it started already, watch for previous high breaks on that. Western uranium on the daily, higher low. So closing above the 34. It's got support. And this one, JoviX, never heard of the damn thing, but you know what? It's breaking previous highs. And here's the weekly chart. So it looks pretty bullish on that one. I'm not sure of any of these companies, but they're out of nowhere. Here's the bullish posturing over the 34, back into resistance and gapping over previous highs. The gap and run on a daily chart. Fun games, fun games. Let's do a little Apple. Apple's got a little top there. 2-bar reversal plus the hanging man over the 8, over the 13, back into the 13 and rejected. So watch for this to come back in. I got support at 164. Google, we were showing a double top for the longest time. Decided it was going to break that easy. And it looks like it's gearing up for another move. That is a pennant on the top there. Pennants are bullish. But it looks like it could come back into support too. So it's either way on that pennant. Closing below the 8 and the 13. Could want to possibly fill that gap. It's probable. Let's get to Bitcoin. Bitcoin decided to attack 8,000 again while we're all sleeping, watching football games, whatever. It's got, 24/7. This thing is roaring. So we had a head fake on Friday, right? I think a head fake is a good term for it. We had a nice little run up, right? And we broke out. Then we had the head fake. The double top head fake, and that's when BCH and Ethereum and Litecoin all took off. But then, out of nowhere, kind of lower highs, sneaky, breaking previous highs. Very nice volume. So anyways, I don't know how many measured moves I can count on this, but I think if you wanted to look at my previous videos, and this is per the dollar. So you can take the measured move and take the measured move and take the measured move. I had an accumulation pattern here. That was pretty awesome there. This is Coinbase. Per the dollar, not anything else. So the measured move looks like 83. I can't be for sure on that, but let's do this a little different. Let's take this measured move. No. Let's start from the beginning. Let's try this for size. So it looks like it's at the measured move. Let's just call it there. 8,000. It was. I can't remember. I did this before. I always erase them. So let's call 8,000 the measured move. If it breaks here, it could take another leg. So, that sounds right, because it was just another leg with just below 10,000. Very bullish, though. Look at that. The breakout. Came back all the way back into the 8. Bounced with a vengeance. Doubled back, breaking previous highs. And tonight is the weekly close on Bitcoin. So a new candle is going to open up. So watch maybe a back and forth, back and forth. But if it closes very strong, and it is maybe an hour and 15 minutes longer, if this thing breaks into the next measured move, I mean, boom, boom. It's amazing. I started charting it on the channel way back when it had that pennant, that high-flying pennant, right around 1100, I think it was. So this thing's insane. Wish I had $1 million. BCH, it had a nice bounce during that head fake on Bitcoin. Can't see much on a weekly chart, but it had a nice push on the fork, came all the way back in, 2-bar reversal into resistance, back into support. Watch for more consolidation on this. It ran way too hard and fast. Has a nice 2-bar reversal here, but watch for the lower high. If this thing breaks out, watch for the lower high. Yeah, watch for Bitcoin to get slammed somehow, because that's the only, I think, the triggers on BCH and BTG, Bitcoin Gold. Watch for Bitcoin Gold to break 200, the previous high. Again, ran way hard and fast. The next bounce could be a lower high. It's got to form a pattern. I need some kind of an opposing point. So it's going to come, break into, and then it's going to break into, and then it's going to break that, you know, I don't know if it's going to be that steep or if it's going to make a double top. That'd be nice. But watch for the break previous high, 200. 200 and above would be a BTG buy signal. As it's, to me, way undervalued. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. At the higher lows on the 60-minute chart. Could get something out of it. Ethereum's bullish. Look at that top. I was bullish on it when it was over here, and it decided to take another dip. So it gathered its legs, and it's trying again. It looks very bullish across that trend line break. Higher lows. And the resistance coming in. It's getting into a pinch. Into the pattern is coming. Let's see how long it stays inside that pattern. It looks bullish coming outside here. Look at the volume accompanied. Very nice. Ethereum, watch for the break. Watch for the break. That could be a money getter right there. Ethereum's still the blockchain that everyone wants to get onto. So all these smart contracts, all these little companies, all these ICOs, they're usually coming on the Ethereum network. So everyone wants their service. It's a very, very good thing to have here. Dashcoin, nothing. Remember copper, I was trying to explain to you that that wedge. There's that wedge. That's what copper's doing. It's got that stair, step, stair, step, stair, step, and then pop. As support finds a level, and then the decline trend line is so steep, it just wedges. Bam! Descending triangle. Dashcoin, I got a double top. All right, it's got to take out that double top. Had a nice rise, so let it come back in. Litecoin broke previous highs. Make sure we stay above those previous highs. But yeah, this one, again, a lot of speculators saying that this is going to be very well. It's going to do very well in the future. It's faster, it's cheaper. Being that like Bitcoin is so expensive and it takes forever. I was caught in a transfer for 14 hours. Thought I lost everything. I was like, what the hell is going on here? So here's my EOS this afternoon. It's coming back into support. But I am very happy with this. I am going to keep buying it too. That is just me. Ran to a top over the weekend, came back into support. I'm just going to keep buying it. Crossing over the 2 was a very nice mark. I think I'm definitely out of profit. Yeah, I'm definitely out of profit now because I started buying it. I can't remember when I started buying it, but right when I bought it, it originally, with my first investment, it tanked. And I've been buying it. I was buying it way down here at the bottom. The only thing that screwed me up was Bitfinex decided to ban US users, and that's where my holdings were. So I had to sell it, and then I had to buy it. Remember that 14 hours on the transfer? I lost some profit share. But since then, it has risen and broke previous highs, and I'm back into a profit, so no big deal. So I'm bullish on it. It might come in for a few days because it ran over the weekend. Stellar, this is not a decentralized, this is a banker coin, but being that it's a banker coin, why not make some money off these people? It trades very well. It's got high volume, and I do believe it's bullish. Coming off that daily chart. It's a weekly here. You can see the bullishness of it. Bullish. It's coming across. See the J curve on that 8? It's going to pop right across that 34. It's coming into support. Excuse me, into support for a opposing point. So we have a trend. And then now we have a pattern. I think this banker coin is going to take off. It's got some very good news lately. STR, Stellar. It's a reverse head and shoulders right here. Consolidation inside a pinch. Watch for the whipsaws, the sling back. Like a slingshot. Bring it back real hard and fast and letting it rip. I don't know anything about this. It's some kind of a equity. Bitcoin inverted, but it looks bullish here, where Bitcoin looks bullish. So if this is inverted, then it's not doing its job. It doesn't seem. I'm not sure how this works, but it's got to break outside that pattern. It's bullish off of here. That's another one of those kickers. Closing down, opening up, and then the bullish posture across the trend line there. Yeah. But if it's inverted and this is bullish, then that means that the Bitcoin is not. And so far, I haven't seen any bearishness on that Bitcoin. So we'll see how this measures up. I have no idea. PRELF. This is Hive. And if you want to mine some coins, I got a link in the description for Genesis Mining. That's where they're mining these in Iceland, I guess. But I'm a little bearish on this now. It made a spike high, it ran loose, came back into support and got rejected by the 8. So it's going to have to gather its legs, stay above this hammer. If it loses support, it could come on back in, no problems. And I imagine that they'll dilute as much as they can because of the hype, right? They pump it and they dump it. They dilute it. So watch out below. This is a very nice high-level consolidation if it can hold support. Global BLKCF, another blockchain equity popping out of the woodworks. If there's any more that you want to follow, let me know. I think that's the only ones I have. Back to the beginning, the US dollar. Let's see, let's find that gold before we go. Still opened up. That's a good sign. We still opened up on gold and silver. That's a good sign. Copper opened up as well. Let's keep an eye on the head and shoulders top on S&P. That could be the trigger for gold and silver. But that's it. I appreciate you guys. Let me know what's going on out there, and catch me in the morning at the open. I'll see you.